You know, delivering excellence is more than just 18 wheels moving products around the country. Trucking is complex, and its people are passionate. Accommodating a diverse driving workforce, ever-changing regulations, supply chain demands, and new technologies all present their own challenges, but in trucking, the creative and the innovative succeed. Let's understand the people that drive and support the trucking industry, and welcome to Garner Trucking's Beyond the Cab. Hello and welcome back to another edition of Beyond the Cab. Today I am so pleased to have with us the owner of Garner Trucking, President and CEO, Mrs. Sherri Garner Brumbaugh. Thank you for joining again.
Oh, great to be back.
Yeah.
I don't think I went anywhere, but
no, you've always been here, but on the show now we gotta qualify it, right?
Okay.
So I will say it's been an extremely interesting, buzzing couple of months here at Garner, and there's been a lot of conversation from our fleet and our drivers. They've got some questions, and I think we just got to sit down and we got to talk about one of the coolest things I think I've seen in the 25 years that I've been with the organization, and that is an introduction to the NASCAR world.
Garner is NASCAR.
I'm telling you, it's pretty cool.
It is.
We just got done taking a look at a photograph of the car, a nice little portrait that was taken, and you can't help but smile over that because it's just an amazing thing that, it's like, okay, so the question is how does something like this come about? How does this happen?
Well, like they say, you get introduced to people, and along the way you don't know their connections, and they connect you with this person, and they connect you with this person, and pretty soon you find your way in. And that it all, kind of came from that. I went last July, I went to Mid-Ohio. And we were invited by a vendor, and so they invited us to that. And so we got to speaking after everybody left. I mean, we were hanging around. We were really enjoying the experience, and which is the step down from the Cup Series.
NASCAR, yeah.
And they were sponsoring that car for that race, and the manager for the driver of that car did very well, placed 10th. And for them, that was a very good run, and they were very excited. So we were all celebrating, and it got quiet. And the manager of the car, the driver, sat down with us, and we just struck up a conversation. And we love NASCAR. We talked about my drivers love NASCAR, and how would you like to become more involved with NASCAR? And I was like, well, sure, but I'm not M&M or
right.
FedEx or
We're not just cutting and printing the money right here.
No,
yeah.
I mean, I'm not going to be at that level. No way. And she said, well, there's all kinds of levels that you can be involved. You choose. It's a kind of a cafeteria plan. I'll present you with introduce you to some folks. And she found an acquaintance in the NASCAR series, in the Cup Series, that their trucks were getting older, and they needed to replace their trucks. And would you have some trucks that maybe they could use? And yeah, I have some trucks. I have some trucks against the fence. There's a value to them. Let's put a sponsorship value around that. And so that turned into our trucks would not fit their spec.
Well, in fairness, they're running in some different spots than what we do.
They're running, they're going to California. They're running over the mountains. They're going, through Texas. They're going out in the boonies and then coming back. So our truck spec really didn't fit their needs. They needed larger fuel tanks, a little more horsepower. That trailer is heavy that they're pulling. They're pulling cars and engines and things like that, so, and equipment. And so it turned, our trucks wouldn't spec for them. And so they said, well, we'll wait, and could you get us a couple trucks? They had no idea how to spec a truck. They knew what they didn't want, but they really didn't have a connection to spec a truck.
It's hard for me to accept
I know.
that.
And so a good portion of the value was, or the time, it's like we like to haul freight. That's what we know. That's what we do. Beyond, it's what they want to spend their time figuring out how that engine, that
Right.
was a new car this year, right? They were overwhelmed with that new NASCAR and how to run that car, and they got behind on really getting a truck. Their trucks are like 10, 12 years old. They only put like 50,000 miles on a truck a year.
Wow.
So they were older trucks, but they were breaking down a lot.
Okay.
And so just take the time, the distraction to go through that process, because it's a process to spec a truck and go back to the OEM, and the process.
Oh, yeah. There's a book that comes with it, as a matter of fact.
It's several rounds.
Yep,
it's
several rounds.
And then, when you go through the line by line, when you change things from here and there, that takes anywhere from an hour and a half to 3 if you're going to change line items on. That's like overwhelming. So we did all that, and they're just so pretty. It's Spire Motorsports. They aren't a Hendricks team. They're not a Penske team. They're in that 20 to 25 placing team. 30 is a bad day. Not getting in the race at Texas was a bad day for them, because they should have been there, because they took 24. And Corey LaJoy is the driver.
Number 7, right?
Number 7. They also have a second car, 77. Josh Balicki or Landon Kessel drives that car. So they kind of flip drivers in that second car. But Corey LaJoy is their contracted driver for the 7 car. And he missed getting in it in Texas this last weekend. But so it's good for us. I think it's a good fit for us that we're not going to be on that nor do I want to be.
That's a whole other level.
That's a whole level that I just don't think is necessary. But the point is that I bought this for the drivers. I invested in it for our drivers and for our families. That I know not everyone likes NASCAR. I just hope we do enough different things here at Garner for our families that they find something they enjoy.
You're striking a nerve at that point.
Yeah, but I tell you, even if you're not a NASCAR fan, and
you gotta go.
I know you're not a big NASCAR fan, Tim, but just to experience one time and say, because it's a whole different. You're in the pit box.
Yeah, that's a different experience too.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
I got the grace of going to the Brickyard several years ago and getting the escort in and the whole deal.
Yeah.
But I didn't get to do any of that. I was up in a box, which not a complaint. It was
that's
great.
Right.
But to have gone and have that experience, you're absolutely right. You've got to do that because it's amazing. It's an amazing day, really.
Oh yeah.
But now you're adding some wrinkles there, because now you're down with the.
You're sitting behind the crew chief.
Yeah, that's something totally different.
You're watching the pit crew and what they're doing, and the headset's on, and you're listening to the pit crew communicate. You're listening to them communicate to the driver, which is really cool because when we were in Kansas, there's strategy. Do you stay out? Do you come in or do you stay out? And how they work through that. What do they think about? Tires are huge with this new generation car. There was an incident with one of the cars at that Kansas City race. Yeah, they couldn't get the lug nut off of it.
They had every power tool known to mankind out there trying to get
and
that
it was
thing
just right. It was like four boxes down from where we were, and we were watching it live.
Yeah,
and so it, it's just and Corey LaJoy is just a very down to earth. He went to dinner with us. He's 30 years old. He's they're expecting their second child within weeks, so he's this very anxious second child,
second time dad. Yeah, sure.
But he's just a really nice kid, and really appreciates the sponsorships, and just to see Garner on that car, that was a surprise this year. That was a thank you from Spire for, going above and beyond with speccing the truck. And now we're getting the trucks early because our Freightliner, all our OEMs that are building trucks, it's like, do you want a truck? Do you not want a truck? You're going to get it now. You're not going to get it now. I mean, it's been
Yeah, you take what you can get when you can get it.
our new truck purchases this year and next. I think maybe the supply chain's not going to work itself out for a couple of years. It's going to get to your point. We're going to get it when we're going to get it.
Yeah.
So
You just got to deal with it.
yeah. So it's been a fun experience. We have 3 more races that we can participate in. Of course, it was a contractual agreement. I can send, up to 6 people per race, and just so you can have that intimate experience. So you can talk to Corey, you can talk to the driver, you can talk to other, you'll get to mingle with in the garage with other drivers too. I'm sitting there, and there goes Kyle Busch. And everybody boos, right?
Oh, wow.
There goes Kurt Busch, there goes, Ty Dillon, and you can say, hey, how you doing,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
they're, for the most part, they're all very, very, they understand this is a fan sport, very interactive. I've been to a lot of things too. I've been to professional basketball games, professional football games, Ohio State football games. I've not had that experience to that professional athlete like I've had this.
It's a much more personal thing, an
Yes.
opportunity to really get to know the quote unquote player, right? At that
Right.
point.
Yeah.
I was going to ask, I was curious about from your perspective, barring, what the drivers are going to be able to experience that want to go and experience that. How's your experience been with this? Because you've been to a few races now,
Right.
and it's got that Garner logo on it, which is,
Right. It's
what are your thoughts on things?
Just
As a fan.
Just as a fan, I've followed NASCAR for a long time. My dad, I remember my dad taking us as a family in our Winnebago in like 1976 I was like 10 years old, so it had been 74, 76, something like that. And we were at the infield in Daytona, and he had bought us these little motorbikes. And I don't know, he tweaked the one so it would go faster. I don't know what he did with it, but that was the one that I always wanted to hop on. And in Daytona, I would ride around, and the infield, and we camped on the infield in Daytona. And I remember doing that as a kid, and just going to a few races with my dad every once in a while. And he loved NASCAR, and so just to see, it's one of those things that. Wish he was there.
Yeah, 'cause you can draw back on that experience, and I'm positive he would just be beside himself to see that Garner logo on the side of a car. Absolutely. So from our driver's perspective, they want to get involved with us. They want to do that. They want to go
Yes.
check things out.
Yeah.
What's the plan? What do we need? What do they need to know?
Yeah, so it's 6 per race. We have the Indy race, and we have the
MIS,
the Michigan race, and then we have the Bristol race in September. And the Bristol race lands on our annual meeting day.
Of course
so we're
it
going to,
does.
of course it does. So thinking about if, we might, in one of those spots, ask a customer to go. But it's a driver, and you got to bring a friend. You got to bring a guest with you. So that's why it's 3 employees at a race. Bring a guest with you, spouse. Just the guest has to be 18 years or older to be on the pit.
Sure.
So
For insurance purposes,
for
I'm
insurance
sure.
purposes, and I don't know if anybody watched. They watch on on that Cup Series race where they do the driver introductions. So you're right there in front of that, watching that.
Okay.
And then they'll whisk you around to the car and have pictures with the driver, and then you can stay there. You know how they line up with the cars. You can stand. Well, you'll stand there as they, sing the national anthem, and you give the driver good luck, and off you go.
And
So
you're off.
sometimes you either be on the 7 car or the 77. Now we're not going to have a whole car unless they surprise me again. I don't know. Maybe they will.
Not like you'd be opposed.
No, Sherri, do you want Garner logo on the car? No. Yeah.
I'm telling you, we just got to figure out how we're going to conjure up a hood. I want to steal a hood.
We've got to get one of those and hang it in the driver's lounge for sure. I think we can make that happen. Yeah, and then you spend the day, of course. So we need to let Jenny know. Jenny Fall is coordinating all the travel. We are going to certainly two nights stay hotel, whatever race it is, because you want to get there on the Friday before, because then it's a Saturday experience, and then Sunday. And the proximity of the races, we can get you home Sunday after the race. They're 3:00 races,
sure.
So we'll work with dispatch, so you don't have a early morning Monday
leave.
dispatch.
Yes.
But we'll get you off work on Friday, and out late on Monday, if you will.
We've already had one driver that's been out,
Yeah.
got a chance to go out to Kansas City, and
Yes.
that was.
Yes.
I'm hearing a great experience.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mike Geddes, he enjoyed it, and it was great. For me, it was great to get to know Mike a little bit more and his wife. They're good folks. And there's a travel reimbursement, mileage reimbursement. You'll travel in your personal vehicle. There's a meal reimbursement, so you want to keep track of your meals. The day that you leave and the day you come back, we'll get you a meal reimbursement while you're out there. You'll on Saturday and Sunday, you'll hang out in the garage behind the car hauler, and they'll feed you. The Spire Motorsports, they'll feed you, and Corey LaJoy will be hanging around, and the other drivers,
crazy.
they'll be hanging around, and they'll get a tour of the car hauler. You get a tour of the garage and all of the cars. It was a little dicey, and I hadn't experienced this before, but at Kansas, the Garner car failed inspection, the first inspection.
Okay.
And I was like, it failed inspection. It's like, well, you get 3 tries. So we got to watch it run through all the inspection process, which I hadn't experienced before. So you got to get down there early and experience that. Some of the raceways have a little bit more interactive with fan interactions on the infield.
Okay.
But yeah, I think that's the gist of it, pretty much.
I think it's great, and what a cool experience that's going to be for the drivers that want to get out there and check that out. In tune with those those particular races, anything that our folks here can expect in terms of perhaps a visit from one of our favorite NASCAR drivers?
Right. Yes. So we're still working on that and coordinating that, but part of the contractual agreement is having the driver, Corey LaJoy. It's supposed to be a surprise when it is. We don't know.
We don't know
when it's going to be. So I know it's not going to be the annual meeting because they're racing that day.
Right.
But they're coming. They're coming through Michigan, and they're coming through to Bristol and things like that. So we're going to try to figure something out. He's, they're expecting a new baby here. It may be later in the year.
Yeah, which
at a
is
special
okay.
meeting and bring it. Maybe after season would probably be the best time to get him up here, and we'll have maybe a special meeting with him. But yeah, he's a good kid. He's a nice
That'd be
kid.
cool. Very
And
cool.
it's just to hear, everybody. Let's see, what was the race? It was a race in Talladega. We went down to Talladega. It was right after Bristol, the dirt, and everybody's, on both sides of that. I love the dirt. I hate the dirt,
I love the dirt.
I love the dirt, too.
I love the dirt.
And Corey was just kind of like, so what did I said, I love the dirt. He says, well, that's what's important.
Yeah.
He says, the fans like it, then the fans like it. Doesn't care what we like or not.
Well, it's not the same spectrum, but we did the Eldora thing a few years back,
Right.
if you recall,
Right.
and just had a blast doing that. It was a lot of fun, and that's, of course, an all dirt track, and so,
Yeah.
wear your goggles.
That's right. Don't expect to, don't wear white, right?
That's right. Yeah, expect to get dirty because it's going to happen. Well, again, from kind of the employee's perspective, just an amazing, cool thing to see. You know, if you'd have said 2 or 3 years ago, okay, Tim, we're going to do this. Hell, even 3 months ago when you said, hey, we're doing this, I'm like, this is unbelievable. But then to see it come to fruition and see what that impact is. I had shared with you a little bit earlier. I was at meetings in Arizona for ATA, and the amount of folks that came up and had questions and wanted to know all about the racing. Same thing with the TCA event just a few months before that. There was a lot of talk and a lot of buzz. A little old Garner here in Findlay, Ohio, and something amazing is happening out there in NASCAR.
And I just want to reassure it's an investment, but it's you're not going to see the Garner. You didn't see the Garner car running around the Kansas. He got in second position, I think, one stage for about half a lap. That we got some TV time, and I think another time Denny Hamlin was passing him, and we got some.
Got a little screen time there.
Got a little screen time, but it's not about you're not going. That's not the value. The value is, life's short. We work hard. Let's play hard too. Let's go have some fun, and that's the investment for employees, drivers, and for our support too. I know we have some NASCAR fans here in the building, and
I guarantee they'll be at one of those races, won't they?
It's just for all Garner employees. I want them to feel that if they want to participate in this, they can.
Well, you spoke it earlier. I'm not a huge NASCAR guy. I don't know much about it, but man, is it cool. Well, Sherri, I want to thank you for taking the time to sit down and talk with me today about this. I know a lot of our drivers had a lot of questions, and I think we got them all answered for them. And
good.
Now we know what to do. We got to tune in on Sundays and check it out because it's happening. The Garner car's out on the loose.
It absolutely is.
Thanks again. This has been another edition of Beyond the Cab.